Hey everyone, it's Thursday morning, so we've got a Player of the Week pack to review. I'm going to also just quickly run through the other things we've got on the game today first. So, as part of this 750 million downloads campaign that's been going on, most of this we've already had, but the 50% off match pass has just begun today. So the current match passes will be 50% off for this month. I'll be reviewing the 2 match pass players in a separate video. And skill trainers, we're getting a skill trainer every day for 7 days. Most of this I think we've had by now, though, free GP and trainers and whatnot. We've also got 2 free spins in our inbox on the Arsenal Legend box that's been added today, so that's pretty tidy. This is pretty tidy. You can reset your players for free for the next 2 weeks, so we've got 2 weeks of free reset, so that's good. That's really good news. There's the Arsenal Legend pack that we've got 2 free spins on, so Vieira especially, I think it's pretty tidy there. I want to take a quick look at the point store because I just can't not point out how pathetic this is. There isn't even a list of players. There's no one in there. Just says no players available. Can't even look at the player list. There's nothing. Strips. Bought all those. And then in items, just 3 measly trainers. I've got about 5 million trainers. I've got way more than I need. I've had way more than I need for a year or 2 now. Look at the state of this. 72,500 points that I've earned. And what can I redeem them for? Where are my rewards? There's nothing. A lot of the things people complain about in this game are subjective. It's a matter of opinion. This is not a matter of opinion. It's downright pathetic. But anyway, we'll jump in and have a look at the Player of the Week pack. There are other packs that have been added today. We've got new nominate contract packs. So we've got Turkish League, we've got J League, we've got Speedsters. These 3 nominate contract packs are just like last time. I'll do separate videos reviewing each of those, and then I'll do another video where I review the 2 new match pass players, and I'll put my recommendations, my kind of summary of all the best cards out of these packs in that video as well. So there's a few new videos going to be coming up over the next day or 2. There's also a Turkish League pack. I'm not sure if I'll bother reviewing this one. I don't think it's that great, but Player of the Week is what we're looking at now. So let's have a look at who we've got in the selection this week. As always, I'll put timestamps in the description, so if there's a particular player you want to hear about, click on the description and there'll be a link to take you straight to them. So, we'll start with Portu. Came on as a sub against Barca, scored a couple of goals. No surprise he's in this pack as a super sub. They have, of course, given him the super sub skill. They've also given him long range curler, acrobatic finishing, first time shot, and one touch pass. So they've added a bunch of skills to this guy. He's a whole player. He can play right mid, centre mid, attacking mid, all 3 of those positions. Whole player will be the active playing style. He can play as a right winger forward. Won't have a play style active there. Compared to his base card, it's really just the end product. His passing and finishing have had a nice boost. Everything else has had a kind of slight boost. It's worth mentioning he's also in the nominating contract speedsters pack, so they've just made him available in the nominating contract pack as well. So you could get him from there if you don't get him from here. Pros and cons with that: if you get the one from the nominating contract pack, you can train him however you want. You can put skills on him and positions on him as well, so that's obviously a benefit with the trainable card. But the benefit to this guy, he's got a whole bunch more skills and he's got a booster, so he's already had a slight boost on his GP card, especially with his end product, a real big boost on his end product. But when we hit the booster, we've got dribbling type possession, more speed, balance as well. So this is, I think, compared to the nominate contract one, this is probably a better one, all things considered. There are pros and cons, like I say, but to look at this one in isolation, it's an interesting card. One thing I'll mention, 168 centimeters. He's going to have a low center of gravity. He's quick, decent balance. He's got a very nice dribbling and tight possession. They'll both hit 90 with the game plan boost. So this guy should feel really nice on the ball. Physical contact should hit 70 with the game plan boost as well. So he's not going to be too weak physically. He's not going to be strong, obviously, but yeah, he should feel pretty nice on the ball. Ball control's not brilliant though. Attacking awareness is alright. Would be nice if that was a little bit higher, so we could hit 80 with the game plan boost, especially on the whole player. The passing and finishing, he's got good finishing for a winger on attacking mid. The passing, though, puts me off playing him in the middle. I don't think I'll play him as an attacking midfielder with 78 low pass. Does have one touch pass. They've added it to this card, but he doesn't have through passing. That's a big shame. I think that's the one thing he's really missing in this card is through passing. So the question is, how do you use him? Because you can't play him on the left as an inverted winger. And I don't think his passing is good enough for attacking midfield. On the right-hand side, he can't cross. He's got 70 lofted pass. He's not got pinpoint crossing. He's a right footer. So he's really best, I think, playing on the right and just kind of drifting inside and just trying to get into goal scoring positions, I guess. But without through passing in the build-up, he's just one of these cards who's got a lot of qualities, but he's just not got one or two of the most important things. So he is going to feel nice in the ball. I think when you get into attacking positions, he can certainly shoot and finish, not just from close range, but with 80 finishing, long range shooting, long range curler, first time shot, accurate finishing. He can shoot from pretty much anywhere. He's got a decent shot on him. But the passing for me, I think, is the concern. The fact that he can't cross as a right-footed right wing, I just think it's just a strange one. He's just not really a perfect fit for any of his positions. But as an option, certainly as a super sub, I think coming off the bench on the right-hand side, right midfield, or as a right forward without the play style even, getting into good positions, the ability to score goals for you could be a useful one. But like I say, lots of qualities there. Could feel nice on the ball. Could be a really fun one to use, but he just doesn't fit any of his positions perfectly. So it's not a brilliant card for me, but certainly one that'd be worth trying if you pick him up. And like I say, I've said it a few times, I'll say it one more time, with the low centre of gravity, the attributes he's got, I think he could feel really fun on the ball. So yeah, not a perfect card in any position, but could be a fun one to pick up. And now we have another Minamino. We've had a few Minaminos recently. Had a 1 or 2 player of the week ones. We had a nominating contract one recently as well. This one has been given left midfield. They've added left midfield to his positions, and they made him a roaming flank instead of a whole player. I think a lot of people probably would be disappointed to see that change of play styles, because whole player is a very popular playing style. But I like roaming flank though. I think playing this guy wide left, having him drift across and take up interesting positions in the middle, I quite like that playing style on a wide man, especially on an inverted winger. So I could be a decent playing style on this guy. In terms of his attributes compared to his base card, it's a fairly nice boost across the board. His end product has had a nice boost. His jumping likewise, but again, we've got one of these cards in player of the week. His dribbling is down a bit. His acceleration is slightly down as well. I don't see the point in doing that. Just leave them where they normally are. I don't think anyone's going to complain too much if he ends up being 92 rate instead of 91. I mean, why bother taking two of his most important attributes down a bit? They've done nothing with his skills. I think his weaker foot might be up slightly. But yeah, it's another decent Minamino card. It's not an amazing one. He's got decent pace, decent balance. He's decent on the ball, got decent passing, decent finishing. Just decent. There's nothing amazing and nothing stands out. You know, I'd love to look at a winger or attacking midfielder and player of the week and say he's got amazing dribbling, he's got amazing pace, amazing passing or finishing, but it's just decent across the board really. So yeah, versatile, could be a useful card to pick up if you don't have a decent version of Minamino. He does have a decent section of skills even if they're not added to it, with the shooting and passing. He's got end product. I think he's just one of these cards I think useful is the word I'd use. He's not amazing at anything really, but having a card like him, if you don't already have a decent version of Minamino, the fact he can play most of these positions pretty effectively, I think it's a useful card to pick up, but just there's nothing really amazing about him, to be honest. So not the most exciting card, but could be useful. Now we have an interesting card, Paulinho. I like the look of this one. So Paulinho is normally a deep lying forward. They've made him a whole player, and they've added attacking midfield to his position. So he's an attacking midfielder, but he's still got his other positions he can play. I don't think attacking midfield is his best position, but I think all three of his positions through the centre he could play. I'll say right off the bat, as a wide forward on the right-hand side with that lack of pace, and the fact he's not a dribbler, absolutely not. I don't think anyone's going to want to use him yet there, but through the middle we've got three positions, so we'll get the skills out of the way first, because all they've given is pinpoint crossing. I'm sure he put a great crossing at the weekend. I'm sure there's a reason for that, but when you use him on this game, I don't think that's going to be the most useful skill. But he already has first time shot, heading, and he has one touch pass and through passing as well. So he does have some very, very good skills in all three of those attacking positions. In terms of his attributes compared to his base card, they have slightly reduced his acceleration and his balance, but he has had a pretty nice boost across the board, all his other attributes. I've got to say, this is a good upgrade on this guy. So in these three positions, like as we saw the skills, one touch pass, through passing, 84 low pass. He's got a pass on him. You could use him as an attacking midfielder. He's not the quickest. He doesn't have great balance. He's not great at dribbling. So he's clearly not someone you're going to get on the ball and start dribbling past defenders. But he's technically pretty tidy. He's got the ball control and the tight possession. He could be able to hold on to the ball as a kind of... I like this guy as an SS, to be honest. I mean, I think as an attacking midfielder, yes. I don't think he's quite got the mobility and I don't think he's quite nimble enough to really be effective in amongst it deep in the midfield. You could get away with him there, certainly, but I think as an SS, I'm looking at this guy. The fact he's got a bit of physical strength about him is technically, he can hold on to the ball. Low pass is decent. And then the attacking awareness of 88 with the whole player playing style. That attacking awareness will go up to 90 with the game plan boost. Finishing 86 as an attacking midfielder is fantastic. As an SS is pretty damn good. Striker could get away with as well. To be honest, I'm looking at this guy and I'm struggling to decide what his best position would be. I don't think this is an amazing card. I'm not trying to mug anyone off by suggesting this guy's a top level card, but I think he could be a really neat one, a really useful one in all three of his positions. And he's got first time shot, he's got heading, 6'2", he's got a bit of jumping, certainly some physical on him. He could get some headers for you from crosses. And like I say, as an attacking midfielder, he could do that role with the passing. He's got the technical ability. But I think SS, whole player playing style, that attacking awareness hitting 90 in the game plan, he's technically sound. He'd be very useful in the build-up, I think. He's someone who you could feed the ball into him with a bit of strength about him, a bit of technique, and with some decent passing. He could be very effective in the build-up, but he will be making some nice bursts into good attacking positions with the whole player playing style, with the attacking awareness, and he can finish. So, yeah, this guy for me is a very interesting card. I think changing from a deep line forward to a whole player, I think that transforms him. I think he becomes a much more, just that playing style alone, a much more interesting version of him. But certainly the boost they've given him to his ability with the attributes, even though a couple of them are slightly down from his GP card, generally speaking, it's a very nice boost they've given him. So yeah, with the play style, the boost to his attributes, they've not done much with his skills, but he's already got a good searching skills. I think this guy through the middle, any of those three positions, could be a pretty neat player to pick up, especially as an SS for me. So yeah, it's an interesting card, this one. I quite like the look of it. And now we have Luis Suárez. So we've not had a version of him in a while. Yeah, I'm going to cut to the chase. Goal poacher with 65 speed. No thanks. There will be people who don't mind the lack of speed on a striker, even as a goal poacher. If that's the case, you've got some real qualities on this card. Attacking awareness and finishing are both fantastic. He's got decent ball control. He's obviously not a dribbler anymore, so you're not going to be looking to carry the ball with this guy. Certainly with a lack of pace. His passing's all right. Heading's decent at 82. Physical 80 is not too bad either. Yeah, but compared to his base card, they've reduced his balance a bit. But apart from that, slight boost. Yeah, so it's a slightly boosted version of Suárez. Nothing. It's not massively better than his base card in my opinion, but it is a bit better. They actually changed his play style. His base card's a deep lying forward. He's a goal poacher now, as I mentioned. So an upgrade in playing style in itself, but I'm just not sure it marries up particularly well with his pace. If we look at his skills, they've removed Scotch move and fighting spirit, and they've given him one touch pass and through passing. So that's interesting. He's normally a deep lying forward. They've changed him to a goal poacher, but given him the skills that would have suited him perfectly as a deep line forward. So that's a little bit backwards, but again, to look at the card in isolation, nice skills to be given. So we've already got first time shot, obviously, acrobatic finishing. It's what you'd expect from Suárez skill-wise. Nice having that one-touch pass and through passing added, but I just don't really think he suits the playing style. I think that's the thing. I mean, you could use him as an SS goal poacher, I guess, but yeah, I think ultimately what it comes down to is that if you don't mind the lack of pace on a goal poacher, he could be a really, really effective card. He's going to get into the right position. He's going to be reacting quick in the box. Brilliant at taking chances. He can head as well, so he can score with his head on his feet. And if you're a fan of Suárez and you don't already have a featured version of him, I think you'll be buzzing if you get this card. But yeah, ultimately it just comes down to the pace, really. You know, in terms of just being in the right place at the right time, taking chances. Brilliant. It's Luis Suárez, and he's got the one-touch pass and through passing to improve his passing. It still won't be brilliant, but it certainly helps. But yeah, Suárez fans, very happy, I'm sure. But if you do like your goal poachers to have pace, because goal poachers will be looking to run in behind the defence at every opportunity. Running behind the defence with 65 speed, it's not always going to work out well. So that's the big negative with this card, but other than that, it's a good version of Luis Suarez, and I don't think we're going to be getting too many good versions of Suarez moving forward with the age that he's at. So yeah, Suarez fans, really good card to pick up. Otherwise, that pace is a big concern. Now we have Boscagli, or Boscagli, however you say it. I'm not going to talk too long about this guy. I'll get straight to the point. I think this is a dud of a card. We got a centre back, and they have significantly nerfed his defensive ability. Tackling 82, defensive engagement 82. Yeah, he's got the awareness, but to have the tackling and defensive engagement both early 80s, and he's apparently a 5-star card, no thank you. Pace is alright for a centre back, jumping is just about alright, but he's only 5'11", so a bit of a question mark there. Physical contact only 80 is not great. Yes, he's technically quite decent for a centre back, but to be quite decent down here doesn't compensate, in my opinion, for the fact that he's poor defensively and a bit lacking physically and aerially. And especially when we look at the skills, there's no aerial superiority either. They've added acrobatic finishing and first time shot. Fantastic. So our centre back is going to be decent at taking chances. It's got heading, even without aerial superiority. It's got interception and blocker, great, but there's no man marking, there's no acrobatic clearance, sliding tackle. Yeah, like I said, I'm not going to talk about this guy for too long. For a 5-star centre back, yes, he's got a few qualities. He might be decent at shooting, but he's not good enough at defending. If you want a version of this guy and you plan to play him as a centre back, get his GP card because it's significantly better at defending. His GP card can defend. This version can't. And just before I finish, can he play left back? He's not got the pace or the technical ability. Can he play defensive mid? Again, technical ability is lacking in my opinion. Some people might get away with him, I guess, if you're desperate for defensive mid, but ultimately, if you're desperate for a defensive mid, you can spend 20,000, 30,000 GP, get a better defensive midfielder than this. And even as a centre-back, spend the GP on his GP card because it's better defensively. I think this is a poor card. So here's our other centre-back. We've got a booster version of Thiago Silva. So across the board, it's basically a slightly boosted version of his GP card. It is slightly better across the board. But then when you hit the booster, that's when it gets significantly better. So the awareness and tackling there right up to 95, jumping up to 95 as well. Acceleration goes past 70, which helps because he's not the quickest. Yeah, we've had a few versions of Thiago Silva. It's pretty much the same kind of level as previous ones. As you would expect for a guy of his age, he's not got a great deal of pace. I think that's the one concern when you look at this in isolation. Is it a good version of Thiago Silva? Yes, but any centre-back who's barely hitting 70 for speed and acceleration, for a lot of people, it's going to be a concern. For some people, it might not be. It's personal preference, but yeah, we'll look at his skills. Weighted pass has been taken away. They've given him blocker. So some versions of him in the past haven't had blocker, so that's one upgrade on some other versions of him. Already got interception, man marking. He's got all the skills for a centre-back, really. Heading and aerial superiority, sliding tackle, outback clearance, captaincy. One-touch pass and low-lofted pass is nice on the centre-back, and he does already have reasonable passing for a centre-back. So, yeah, it's a good centre-back card. Some of these attributes, I mean, aerial superiority. He's only about 6 foot tall, not the biggest centre-back, but 95 jumping. He is going to be pretty good in the air. The defensive attributes on the whole are very good. Engagement would like it to be a bit higher, but 86 isn't bad. It's just the pace, really. I think that's what it comes down to. If you like a bit more pace in the centre-back, I personally do. I would be a little bit put off with that. But if you don't mind the slight lack of pace, as I say, you know, technically for a centre-back, he's decent enough. That passing will be quite nice with the skills he's got. Strong defensive attributes with the booster active. And physically and aerially as well, pretty strong. So, yeah, it's not an amazing version of Thiago Silva, but it's a decent one. If you don't have a good version of him and you'd like one, it's a good card to pick up, just whether or not that pace is a concern for you. But if you're okay with that slight lack of pace, certainly with the booster activated, it's a strong centre-back card. And now we've got Brahim Díaz. So, normally a creative playmaker, and they made him a prolific winger. He's got the usual positions. Don't think anything's changed there. I think this guy could be pretty usable in all these positions, to be honest. He's very two-footed, so he can play on either flank. Naturally left-footed, but he's very two-footed. Compared to his GP card, balance is slightly down. And again, the technicals on the ball slightly worse than his GP card. I hate the way they do that, but that's what they've done. Otherwise, decent boost. He's a fun card to use in my experience. I've had a couple of versions of him. Got a decent pace, balance, quite a low center of gravity, and even though they've made him slightly worse on the ball than his GP card, he's still good. That ball control and dribbling will hit 90 with a game plan boost. So yeah, nice on the ball. He's nippy, he's nimble. He's got decent passing, not amazing, but decent. Finishing will hit 80 with the game plan boost as well. If we look at the skills, they have taken away cut behind and turn and Rabona, and they're giving him long range curler, long range shooting. So I think that's a decent trade. Already got one touch passing, through passing. Now he's got some shooting skills as well, so he can pass and shoot. He's got some skill moves there for the dribblers. Heel trick's a nice one. Soul control likewise. He's going to be really nice on the ball. Like I say, he can pass and shoot, and he can certainly dribble. He's got a bit of pace about him. I think prolific winger as a playing style, when you play him out wide, is a big upgrade on creative playmaker in my personal opinion, because he'll be making more runs into attacking positions. You can still use him through the middle, attacking mid and SS. I think he's got all the ability to play any of those roles, to be perfectly honest. He's a bit lacking physical strength, so you might find he gets knocked off the ball a bit easy playing through the middle there, possibly. Especially if the opponent's got big physical defensive mids like Rijkaard, Vieira, players like that. But yeah, he's got a bit of pace. He's nimble. He's good on the ball. A bit of passing and finishing. That versatility as well. It's not the best version of Brahim Díaz that we've had, but if you've not got a good version of him already, give him a try if you get him, because I suspect you will like him. And the fact that he can play a bunch of positions, very useful. So yeah, the last version of him that I got is out of contract. So if I get this guy, I'll be pretty pleased. I think it's a pretty decent card. And now we have a Harvey Elliott card from Liverpool. So Harvey Elliott, usually a playmaker. We've got a whole player, and they've added centre midfield to his positions. So would I use him as a centre midfielder? No, not strong enough defensively. If we look at the skills, there's no defensive skills there, and the defensive attributes aren't great. He's only 170 centimetres, not much physical contact. So yeah, for me personally, I would rule out centre midfield, but attacking midfield with a whole player playing style, I think you're in business. I think this is a pretty tidy card. Compared to his base card, again, they've reduced his dribbling a bit, and his balance is slightly down as well. Very frustrating, but outside of those two attributes, across the board, pretty decent boost, to be fair. It's a pretty decent version of Harvey Elliott. If we have a look at his skills, they've taken away gamesmanship, and they've given him, like with Brahim Díaz, long range shooting and long range curler. So he's got a shot on him. Finishing 78. So again, the same as Brahim Díaz. Game plan boost will take that up to about 80. So he's got a shot on him. He's certainly got a pass on him. 87 low pass. He's got one touch pass and through passing. He's got pinpoint crossing as well. But I think one touch pass and through passing are going to be key for this guy. As an attacking midfielder, whole player playing style. He can pass. He can shoot. Even if his dribbling's down a bit from his GP card, he's pretty tidy on the ball. Good attacking awareness. Pace, he's not electric, but he's quick enough. Decent balance, decent stamina. I think Liverpool fans and people who like this guy, this is a pretty tidy card, to be honest. I don't think it's an absolute top level card by any means, but there aren't too many attributes going to hit 90 in the game plan. I don't think any of them will, to be honest, but it's a pretty tidy card across the board. Passing, shooting, that whole player playing style with good attacking awareness. I think as an attacking midfielder, it could be a really, really effective card. Not an amazing one, but a very good one. And playing wide right, don't think he's quite got the speed, but if you don't mind that lack of pace on a wide forward, the fact that he's got long range curler especially, but he can shoot and he can pass, the passing, the finishing, yeah, he could get away with him wide right forward as well, to be honest. It's a good version of Harvey Elliott. Like I say, he's, there's nothing here hitting 90 with the game plan boost. I don't think maybe ball control if you've got a top manager, but he's pretty good in every area, really. I think especially as an attacking midfielder. He's got a good end product. He should feel pretty tidy on the ball with that low centre of gravity about him. Yeah, not an absolutely amazing card, but I think he's a pretty good one. He's a good version of Elliott. So I think anyone who gets this card, if you give him a try, I think you'll find it's a pretty decent card to have. Now we have Laurienté from Sassuolo. So this guy is normally a wide man. They've added centre forward to his positions. He's normally a roaming flank, but he's a goal poacher. So he's gone from a roaming flank winger to a goal poacher centre forward. He's got the pace to be a goal poacher, certainly. Balance is good. Finishing's decent enough at 85. But that attacking awareness sucks. Got a 5-star centre forward goal poacher with 79 attacking awareness. That's really low. So that's the big letdown on this card. They've nerfed his technique. They've taken a few of all these 3 attributes on the ball compared to his GP card. His balance is a little bit down as well, I think. Outside of that, slight boost across the board, but his finishing has been boosted a lot. As you would expect, they've made him a centre forward. So they're going to put his finishing up quite a bit, and they have. It's gone up a lot. So we'll have a quick look at his skills. They have taken away cut behind and turn, Scotch move, and they've given him first time shot and track back. Track back, not everyone's cup of tea, but I think certainly first time shot on a centre forward, that's a crucial one. He's got a bunch of shooting skills actually, long range curler, knuckle shot, dipping shot, long range shooting, as well as first time shot now. So he's got a shot on him, this guy with 85 finishing. I think the question is where is he going to be best? Where do you use him? Do you use him as a centre forward, even though his attack awareness is so low? I'm not sure. Certainly with the other attributes, he's got a lot of strength. You know, he's going to be good on the ball for a centre forward. Certainly, passing's okay for centre forward. The finishing is alright. Pace is good. Good balance. Physical contact not too bad. So everywhere else he's pretty good. It's just that attacking awareness. I think for me personally, as a centre forward, I think as long as you've got another centre forward up there, or maybe 1 or 2 SSs, you've got 1 or 2 other players up there in attack with him, occupying centre backs, I think you could get away with him. But if he's your lone centre forward, I think the centre backs are going to get to everything first, and I just don't know how much joy he's going to get against in even half decent centre backs, to be honest. But like I say, he does have good pace. He does have good attributes everywhere else outside of the attacking awareness. That's such an important attribute for centre forwards. Out wide though, even though they've made him worse on the ball than his GP card, you could use him out wide left, right footed, still got pace, still decent on the ball, even if he's not as good as he normally is. He's got that fantastic finishing though, and with the shooting skills he's got, obviously first time shot's been added, but he's already got long range shooting, long range curler, cutting in off that left flank onto his right foot, the pace, decent dribbling, 85 finishing. He could actually be very effective playing off the left. So I think this is a card where he's not brilliant in any of his positions. He doesn't quite fit any of them perfectly. I think a centre forward, as I've rambled on, I won't go on and on about it, but the attacking awareness really ruins him a bit as a centre forward. But I think playing wide left, if you look at him in isolation as a wide left player, yes, he won't have a playing style active because he's not a roaming flank like he normally is, but with the pace, the balance, pretty decent on the ball, and that finishing especially, I think that's where he's going to be most effective. So yeah, you look at him as a centre forward, I think he could be a bit frustrating with the awareness being low, but if you look at him as a wide left player, an inverted winger, the skills he's got, the strengths he's got, could be pretty effective in that way, to be honest. So yeah, again, not exactly a top level card by any means, but with the qualities he's got, if you pick him up, especially in the Italian League Challenge, could be a useful one to use. And now we have our goalkeeper, Unai Simón. So with a lot of players, we find with centre-backs, they make them worse defensively. A lot of attacking players, like wingers, they make them worse on the ball, and it's frustrating. Unai Simón, supposedly one of the best goalkeepers in the world this week, they've reduced his reflexes by 1 from his GP card. I mean, what are you doing? What are you doing? Apart from that, yeah, he's pretty good. You know, the awareness is pretty good, 87. Catching's pretty good. Parring's decent enough. Reach is fantastic at 90. 6'3", so he's pretty reachy. But reflex is down 1 to 84 on our 94 rated player of the week goalkeeper. That's just frustrating. I mean, why can't you give him better reflexes when he's played well enough to get him player of the week? It's just silly. Jumping, obviously, he's been nerfed from his GP card because that's what they do with top performing goalkeepers. They make them worse at jumping than they normally are. Skills, they've added penalty saver. So low punt, high punt, long throw, penalty saver. Got a bunch of skills as a keeper. Outside of the ridiculousness of making his reflexes worse than normal, in isolation, you've got a pretty good goalkeeper card. Obviously, the jumping's down. They always do that on these player of the week keepers for no logical reason. But yeah, it's just a pretty good keeper card. But I don't think it's that amazing. I think for a night, I'm not sure quite where he gets his 94 rating from, because reflexes are so important. And I've got 3-star keepers with better reflexes than that. Awareness, yeah, decent enough. But like I say, some decent attributes there. But the reflexes for me, I can't say this is the top keeper. If you're new to the game, if you don't have that many goalkeeper options, and certainly if you don't have one who's on A or B form in any given week, could be worth having him. But compared to a lot of the keepers that I think most of us have got by now, I don't think he's that amazing. So yeah, solid enough keeper, but especially for the reflexes being where they are, pretty disappointing card actually. And we finish up with Erling, another version of Erling. So Normally a fox in the box. We've had a few goal poachers before, and we've got another goal poacher version of him. In terms of the attributes, attacking awareness is 6 lower than his GP card, which makes absolutely 0 sense. And didn't he score 4 goals or something? So yeah, if you score 4 goals, that means your attacking awareness is 6 lower than it normally is, obviously. Balance and acceleration down slightly, but outside of that, he's had a decent boost across the board, especially heading and jumping. So heading and jumping both up to 80. And if we look at his skills, they've also given him aerial superiority. So he's going to be a bit of a beast in the air. Also giving him long range curler. That's a nice one to give him. But in addition to chip shot control being removed, they've also removed super sub. So no longer a super sub this Haaland. So it's a bit of a trade-off there. I think you can live without chip shot control, but taking away super sub, it's what you lose from losing that versus what you gain from long range curler and aerial superiority. Personally, I think it's a good trade. I think those are 2 good ones to have. So skill wise, yeah, and you've obviously got the ones he usually has: first time shot, great finishing, etc., etc. So you got a version of Haaland who's a bit of a beast in the air, basically. Just they've nerfed his attacking awareness for some absurd reason, but it's also a booster. So if we hit that booster, what are we getting? A bit more ball control. We do need that. Finishing, didn't need that. We'll take it. Kicking power and physical contact. So yeah, he's obviously a physical specimen. It's just another Haaland, really. It's just they've made him more of a beast in the air. As you always expect with Haaland, you've got the awareness, even if they've nerfed it for some absurd reason. I may have mentioned that once or twice already, but he honks on the ball. He's not got great passing. Yeah, the finishing's absurd. In the air, he's going to be a beast. He's not going to be ridiculous. He's obviously not going to be like Collar or those types of player. You know, he's 6'4", I think 6'4.5". So even if the jumping is not that high at 80, with aerial superiority and especially physical contact, and that is a big factor in winning headers, he's going to be strong in the air. He's going to be good from crosses. He's got a pretty good pace about him, the kicking power as well. So there's not much need saying. You know what to expect from Haaland. He's got a bit of pace, and you get him into shooting position, he's gonna score goals for you. He's got a deadly shot on him. It's annoying they took the attacking awareness down a bit, and he's, you know, with the balance and the technical attributes, he's going to be horrible on the ball as he always is. But for taking chances, he's going to be supreme, and they made him even better in the air. So yeah, it's not a card I'm desperate to get because I like my strikers to be better on the ball, and it's annoying what they did with the awareness. But on the whole, it's just another Haaland card, and they made him better in the air. So in summary, yeah, just another good version of Haaland, to be honest. So there you go. It's I don't know how to describe this pack. I don't think it's a good one. I think, to be honest, I'd say it's a disappointing one. I mean, if you just look at the numbers, 90, 91, 92, 92, and then we've got 5 93s. You've got 94 that I don't think is really worthy of the 94. And then you've got Haaland. I think looking at it objectively, Haaland's the only really good player in this pack, in my opinion. I think Díaz and Elliott are pretty decent ones. If you don't mind the pace, Silva could be a solid centre-back. And then I think Paulinho is pretty interesting. Yeah, I think Boscagli is probably the only really disappointing one in the pack, but there's just nothing really that exciting. You've got a very good Haaland, but even a very good Haaland's not that exciting because I think most of us have got a really good Haaland by now. So, yeah, to be honest, ultimately, some decent enough cards in there, but I think it's a disappointing pack on the whole. So it's not one I'm not going to be spending any coins on it. Yeah, there's a few decent ones in there. So, like I said at the start, I'll be doing some videos for the nominating contract packs and the match pass players. They'll be coming up on the channel over the next day or two, so keep your eyes out for those. But otherwise, hope you found that interesting. Thank you as always for watching. I'll see you soon.